So this first video will be showing you a standard pedal float rescue. So what I've done here is I've capsized out of my boat. I've grabbed my pedal float, which was easily accessible. I now chuck it onto my pedal, and then once I've done that, I'm going to wrap it up and clip the buckles up. And this is so that it doesn't come off when I do the rescue later on and disappear. What I've done at this stage too is I've wrapped my leg inside the kayak, and this is just to stop the kayak from floating away while I blow it up. If you want to move fast or if you're in a rush, you can blow up the pedal float as you move up and down the kayak, but just be aware not to let go of the kayak during this process. So I've moved up, now I'm going to the front of the kayak so I can lift it up. As I do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pedal float as an anchor and pushing down with one hand, lifting it up and rolling it over, and then coming to the back of my boat. From here, I'm going to secure my pedal to the back of the boat. There's a few options here. My kayak has a little strap, which makes it really easy, but otherwise you can put it into the bungee cords. When stepping up, what I do is I stand up on the pedal float first, get my feet in, and then rotate around with my hands. While I do this process, I'm always putting pressure on the pedal float or the downwind side. And now you've got a few options here and order things. If it is a really windy conditions, what I would probably do first is put my spray skirt on. This is just to stop the boat getting flooded again. So put my spray skirt on, so if waves are crashing over, I'm not filling up. Taking my pedal float off now, so I'm just releasing it, and then putting a whole bunch of pressure onto there as well, and stowing that away so that I can have access to it again if I was to flip. And now what I'm going to do is put my pump in between my tunnel of my spray skirt, and then start pumping out. So this is one option. Another option is you can break the side of the spray skirt to do the pumping as well. So the second method of the pedal float rescue, the initial steps are completely the same, but what we're looking at differently here is a different way to get into your boat, and it's kind of by doing like a heel hook approach. So what I do is I extend my pedal out, so I put it further back in the boat, and I put my heel in, and then I keep nice and low, and I roll myself into the kayak. And the tricks with this one is just not to get too high, and I find it's quite balancy, but once you get it, it's actually really nice to do, nice and fast. And then you would just repeat that other process. And this is the third method that we're looking at, and so this is actually combining two rescues. So this is, we're going to be kind of doing a re-entry roll, but using the pedal float to support with this. And so I capsized, I blew up, did all that, and now what I'm going to do is jump into the kayak, as you can see, and I'm going to just do a normal standard roll. When I'm doing this roll, some things I want to think about is there's going to be lots of pressure on that blade because of that pedal float, and so rather than pulling down, it's really important that you pull out. And so it's important you have really good technique for this, or else you might damage your shoulders. And then and here I'm showing a different way of emptying out your boat. So this is what you do on a calm day. Don't worry about your skirt, get all the water out, put that away, and put your spray skirt on, and then once you've done that, you can get rid of your pedal float.